Hawaiian 105 is KINE FM and HD1 Honolulu and on Oceanic Time Warner Cable Digital Channel 855.
Hawaiian 105 KINE. As I look in your eyes, I see a part of your mom and a part of me. As you cry out for me, I hear a voice so soft and heavenly on my shoulder.
I ain't enough for that shit, I'm sorry.
Oh, back tap. Given a lot of
Used to bite my tongue and hold my.
Oh my goodness. One night more. This is probably why they closed off this road. There must be all kinds of stuff back here that they don't talk about. Well, we're in the state park right now. Up here at Round Top. It used to be connected to Tantless Drive. And we used to go up here as children, and most of the time I just remember the road. We used to race on this road, and they closed the road that was connected to here. So you can't come this way, you have to go around. I never been here for a while, so this is kind of new to me. But we're way up here on the top of the mountain, and look at what we see. Look at what we see, the communications tower. So I guess they call this the viewpoint. I guess you can see all of Hawaii, all of Oahu. I guess that's the bathroom, the communications tower. So that's what they use instead of satellites. And they were coming for a while. Some told me come to the mountain, and then some told me Round Top, go to Round Top. So I'm here. All this is just tourist attractions. So you keep on coming. So I'm parking. Go check it out. And I guess that's the hike. That's the hike up there. This is maybe what they call the viewpoint. We're gonna find out. Look. This is where I live. I live right down there. Let me point it out. Where am I at? So right there. So you see where there's that dome, that baseball center. We're at a freeway. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like halfway to Diamond Head right there. That's my house. Alright, so here we go. Our state's parks offers a diversity of outdoor recreation experiences, from the mountains, which is called Mauka, to the sea, Makai. At Pu'u'ualaka'a State Wayside, we invite you to enjoy the panoramic views of the coastline, have a picnic or take a hike. The trailhead for the Ualaka's Trail is located near the park's entry. Please respect this special place and take only photographs. For everyone's enjoyment of the park and protection of the natural and cultural resources, we ask for you help in following our park rules. Heed all posted park signs regarding rules and hazards. Pu'u'ualaka'a is one of the 3 cinder cones located between Manoa Valley to the east of Nu'anu Valley to the west. It is transitional between the lower slopes of Makiki behind Honolulu and the forested uplands of Tantis and the Ko'olau Mountains. The history of Pu'u'ualaka'a is one of the deforestation in the 1800s for firewood. So you got to understand, when I went to school, and or even to today, I'll get in arguments with people who are not that educated, and what happens is they'll see a lot of the pictures of a more recent Hawaii when there was the deforestation had already occurred, so it really looked bad. So a lot of times they'll say things like, "Oh, if it wasn't for us, this wouldn't be beautiful," or something. But what they fail to understand is this place was extremely beautiful, and then a deforestation occurred because they wanted to take the resources, and what we don't understand is that those resources were used as medicine as well at those times, and building materials. So they pretty much destroyed it. I'm gonna continue. For firewood, agriculture, and grazing, followed by a period of reforestation in the 1900s. See, what happened was, the problem with that was the reforestation was not with native plants. When the reforestation occurred, that's when they brought in a lot of invasive species, which was used to hide the archaeological evidence. And as well, they wanted to have plants to battle with the native plants for medicine. We have a bunch of medicine in this forest that we don't even know is there, and the longer we go without discovering it, these other invasive species will come and will battle with it for land, for dirt, and for minerals. So this is what's happening. When the reforestation happened, they just brought in plants that wasn't good for this forest. So that's why when you walk through the forest today, there's no area to walk. It's just overgrown. The foresight of the Kingdom of Hawaii in the early 1900s has preserved much of this special place, so close to the urban Honolulu for a public purpose. Pu'u'ualaka'a was established as a state wayside in 1957 as part of a 2,000-acre Makiki Tantis State Recreation Park. So we understand that a lot of the state parks in the different areas of America are actually native or indigenous American homes or artifacts or temples that they made them state parks that way you cannot access, you cannot dig it up. You're not able to look for them because those things are against the law. All right. Aya I Luna o Ualaka said of one who is like rolling sweet potato with nothing to hold fast to. The hill was named Ualaka for a sweet potato that broke loose from its vine and rolled down to a field below in Manoa. O Lelo Noyao, Hawaiian Proverbs and Poetical Sayings by Mary Kavena Pukui, Bishop Museum. So we're gonna read the rest of this and then we're gonna finish this off. The higher elevation and forest setting of Tanlis made it a popular place for outing to escape from hustle and bustle of nearby Honolulu in the late 1800s. It was like another world with its cool, moist climate, and thick green forests of native koa and hoia. So koa is acacia, the acacia wood, which was also used as a holy wood. I don't understand where we gotta pick and choose, where there's only one wood that can heal you, one wood that's medicine. There's not just one plant in the world that heals, that does all the things, and all the other plants have no jobs. So this acacia is the real deal. It's a plant just like the cedar that's healing, that our people use, and it's when they say indestructible, the core wood is really indestructible. So it fits everything. We just don't understand because we don't appreciate history. Trees intermingle with kukui trees, so they had kukui trees, and we understand kukui trees is medicine as well. You just gotta know how to prepare it because the seed and stuff is poisonous if you don't prepare it. But it's a good if you have stuck feces, then you can use that and it'll clear you out. So ferns and patch of wild ginger. So there's ferns and wild ginger all over the place. And I used to live in Maui, and me and my mom, we used to drive down the Hana, and we would just stop on the side of the road and wild ginger everywhere. So I don't doubt that there was wild ginger all over the place over here. The scenic views and lush vegetation attracted hikers, artists, and photographers. Li'ahi, Diamond Head, is a prominent landmark in many of the photographs taken from Tanlis in the early 1900s. The hiking trails of Makiki Tanlis era began as old horse trails created during the reforestation projects. Today, there are 15 trails in the Makiki Tanlis system, offering an opportunity to explore the forest and enjoy the panoramic views of southern Oahu. And this is old picture, 1915. And this one is 1915. This one is 1910, 1890, and 1893. This is a hale of Alakea near Kalabahine Trail below Tanlis in 1893. And this is Tanlis Road where we just came up. And this is a forest cabin that a European had up here. Prior to 1890, only a few Hawaiian families lived in this area. Legislation in 1890 allowed citizens to acquire government land on Tanlis for residence. There you have it right there. There you go. Doctrine, there you go. That's what it is. Same thing as you got in America. In America, the same thing had happened where legislation had changed Native American and forests into residential areas. So let's read it. Manifest Destiny. There we go. Manifest Destiny. Here we go. Only a few Hawaiians lived in the area. Legislation in the 1890s allowed citizens of the corporation who was brought here to weed out the Hawaiians acquire government land on Tantalus for residency so they could compete with the native Hawaiians. The first residence was a summer home called Maluhia that was built between Pu'ukakea and Pu'uho'ohia by H.W. Smith. Now, I know anybody out there can go and research Smith, the last name Smith, and you know what I mean. We'll figure something out. Let's find their family to see how they're doing today. Yeah, I'm sure they're probably Freemasons. Who knows? Tantalus became a favorite place of summer residences. More prominent Honolulu families purchased land and built cottages. So they're telling you about the least prominent one. All these other rich people came in and bought up everything and competed with the Europeans. And it's saying that legislation allowed for this to happen in the 1890s. So you gotta understand, this is a long time coming. These early residents were generally not visible from the road due to the large size of the property and the steepness of the hillside, requiring long drives. So they're saying that these people who bought the properties had lands that were really huge. The Makiki Tantalus era was and these people had got this land. Okay, let's read this. The Makiki Tantalus area was declared a forest reserve in 1904. A forest cabin was built along the Tantalus Road as reforestation began with the forest reserve in 1910. The forests of Makiki Tantalus were heavily impacted by the sandwood trade. So he's talking about the sandalwood. This Hawaii used to be just infested with sandalwood. The sandalwood beyond the eye could see. So much sandalwood, we don't know what we do with the sandalwood. So what happened was they started coming here and buying the sandalwood because it's the most valuable resource. And so the king of Hawaii said, okay, wait, you can't buy all the sandalwood. You buy a little bit of sandalwood, you come back, you can buy a little more sandalwood. And so he said, oh, I don't like this. I want to take all the sandalwood so these people are not rich, so they don't have a resource, an economy. So what happened? They said, and this is going to go into my next lesson, they asked the queen if she wanted to rule. Or do you want to just sit in your little tent with your women and bicker? Or do you want to step up with the big boys and come in the big boys' tent and negotiate for your people? So what they did, they told her they'll back her. She destroyed the kapu system, which allowed her to negotiate in the men's tent. She killed all of the priests except for the high priest, so she was able to either get on board or threaten. And they went out and sent the king's son away so they could set up everything. And then they brought him back and they tried to persuade him. And they told him, you know what? These are your troops and these are mine if you know what's good for them. And what happened? She ruled through his monarchy and his brother's monarchy until she died. And what happened? Our sandalwood was destroyed. Look at the dates. 1815, 1819, Kamehameha dies. So for 4 years, they was trying to destroy, but they couldn't. So they had to kill off them. So they had 7 years after that to destroy the sandalwood. And then guess what happened? In the 1820s, they told her she had to destroy all the temples and the pyramids. So this is right in between here, right after Kamehameha's death. We don't understand how important this information is and how blatant they are with it. They don't understand what this means. This is 1850. So 4 years after this, we started trading with them. They off the king. They make negotiations to off the king. And then right after they're off the king, they destroy the religion and they destroy the temples and pyramids, because pyramids and temples are fingerprints. So they want your fingerprints. You're going to know who you are, your cousins are, across the water in America, in Africa, all over the world, in Asia. So no, we got to destroy it. Oh, they're telling them they didn't have a language. What? All this petroglyphs? That ain't nothing. It's probably from another people. Alright, now get with the next program. The harvesting of firewood for the whaling industry, farming, livestock grazing, and fires. So they went and they came in, they made sure they destroyed everything else. All the coal wood, all the acacia wood. Just get rid of it all. Now you can't even. Now, when we was trying to build the Hokulea, we had to go to Alaska and get the ironwood from there because we never had a coal tree that was big enough to harvest to make the boat. That's what they did to us. Bro, this is not a game, man. In 1890, the residents of Honolulu petitioned the Kingdom of Hawaii for a carriage road to the top of Tanlis. The mountain terrains required switchbacks, hairpin turns, and routes along the ridge. The scenic values of the road were recognized when the government reserved sections along the roadway. The topography and forest landscape created a unique recreational experience with panoramic views of Honolulu. So, after they got that place in 1890, they went petition and had the government build the roads for them, for the rich who own the land. They bought the land, said we own the land, now we gotta do the roads, but instead we're gonna petition for the government to pay for the roads. And they're gonna pay for all the roads on all my land. That's what this is saying. But we don't understand language, we don't understand history. We don't understand what we're reading or we're seeing. Round Top Drive joins with Tantalus Drives and followed the ridge with Manola Valley. So they did this to Round Top Drive. You think they didn't do this to Tantalus? You think the same thing, the same story, isn't at Tantalus as well on the other side of this mountain? And you're fooling yourself if you believe that. This road begins at the base of Cinder Rock. Look at that name. From the area was overlain with black cinder. With the high rainfall, and Cinder Road was subject to washout. The potholes, but it would not be paved until 18 years later. Because of the foresight of the Kingdom of Hawaii, over 100 years ago, much of Tantalus area has been preserved. The 10 miles of roadway that loop around Makiki Valley continue to provide one of Oahu's most scenic drives. So they're saying, see, no grumble about us getting handouts from the government to make our roads, because look, now you get to experience this stuff, right? Isn't that what I was saying about when they see desolate land in the early 1900s, and they say, "Oh, look what we did. Look how it looks now. It was because of us." They don't understand that they do cause and effect. So they cause a problem, they cause an issue, and they say, "Look at what we did to fix the problem that we made." Yet they don't say the problem we made. They just say, "Look what we did." And when they'll go as far as saying, "Look at the problem you made," and point at you, when you're here for thousands of years. And they'll even tell you themselves that there were more fish here at the time of colonization than there were here before we came back after the floods in 400 BC. After Alexander the Great conquered us and changed our religion and our culture, greatly affected it. So, from sweet potatoes to macadamia nuts. Oh, building roads. I like these old pictures. Okay, let's see what this is. I'm just skimming through, man, and when I see something interesting, I'm gonna say it. The forests in the hills behind Honolulu were heavily denuded as the fragrant sandalwood trees was harvested for trade with China between 1815 and 1826. Additionally, forest trees were cut from 1833 to 1860 to provide fuel for whaling ships. Other areas were cleared for farming and ranching. Grassing covered the hills by the 1800s. So there was a lot of trees, native trees, and then all of a sudden there was just a lot of grass. See this kind of shit over here.
So he flew away and promised craft on a tour. Did you see him when he flew away? He dropped the bomb. Yeah.
No, that was a feather.
No, that was a bomb. Okay, feather goes like this. Bomb goes like that. And then they go up to the bathroom, and I'm like laying on the beach, and there's two pigeons land next to me. The one goes walking by, and it's got a string wrapped around it.
I was eating a fruit bar, and this one pigeon was greedy, and he kept landing on my arm and just pecking out there.
So this is Waikiki back in the days. So no buildings. So it goes. Waikiki became an important residence for the Li'i chiefs of Oahu in the 1400s because of its fish ponds, lo'i, kalo, towel fields, and groves of coconut trees. It was a favorite retreat for the royal families in the 1800s. By the late 1800s, the landscape was changing. Kalo was replaced by rice, and fish ponds were used as duck ponds. The ponds and fields were drained, and water was diverted with the construction of the Alawai Canal. In the 1920s, the lands became the beach, were filled and hotels were built. The Moana Hotel, built in 1901, followed by the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in 1927. So here we go. The Moana Hotel came up on 1901. Then after they assassinated Kamehameha in 1919 and destroyed the temples and the pyramids in 1920, they created the Royal Hawaiian Hotel and became a landmark in 1927. The first high-rise hotels appeared along Waikiki Beach in the 1950s as Hawaii became. So right after Hawaii became a state, then all the hotels, the high-rises started to go up.
So it's small and it's so probably and eggs too.
And this is Punch Bowl, which I showed a few people before, like on the ancient trees.
Did you? Yeah, I got one.
I think I want one like this way.
And this is Puloa in Eva, and this is Pearl Harbor. There you go, Hawaiian. Hello. Good. Thank you.